Hey, this is Rob.
And John.
And Steve.
And Brian.
Of Division 1.1. And you are listening to SND Podcast on the Schmucks Sports Network.
Episode 50 of the SND Podcast show on the Schmucks Sports Network. Yeah, we made 50 episodes.
I know.
Not including our specials.
That's this. Wow. Like we mentioned last week for our year anniversary, thank you for everybody that is stuck with us and being patient with us, pretty much learning.
Those 4 people have been really helpful.
No, just being patient with us through this whole last year, and thank you for the support system, and everybody knows who they are. So
everybody who supported us, helped us, everything that everybody's done
and
for us.
thank the haters as well.
Of course, there's always haters.
More fuel to the fire. This is episode 50, like Steve mentioned. So we have a fun-packed show. We have a few. We have
we'll talk
one
a little
special
baseball.
guest. It's World Series, so we have to talk about that. Hockey season's full swing. Football is actually a fun week for football to talk about.
Yeah.
Both the New York teams finally won a game. So
well,
no
the
matter
Jets have won a game this year. We finally actually won a game.
But that's what I'm saying. Both New York teams won a week, so that's fun to talk about this week. So finally, with that, this week's Division 1.1 song is actually "Freak Show," pretty much fitting for the 50th episode.
Let's not get the 50th anniversary yet.
I hope.
Slow down, killer.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But we also have our special guest tonight.
Yes.
We have Adam Rank coming back, joining us.
Hopefully he doesn't have to go to the bathroom before he goes.
But of course we will share if he does.
Yeah, of course. So, here's more Division 1.1 for Freak Show.
This is Dan from the 7 Line, and you're listening to the S&D Podcast on the Schmucks Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the S&D Podcast. It is World Series baseball time. Steve, how excited are you for this World Series matchup? The Boston Red Sox versus the St. Louis Cardinals. The matchup that everybody's been waiting for this whole entire season. 2 great quality baseball teams fighting it out for the chance for another World Series ring for both teams. It's the rematch of the 2004 World Series title. What do you think? Were you Peter Griffin when he just stubbed his toe? Anyway, what do you think?
The Red Sox have the pitching.
Red Sox have the momentum and the pitching right now. So do the Cardinals. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a deep series. Unfortunately, I predict the Cardinals are gonna win in 7, but it's gonna go either way. Obviously, both teams have been the best teams in each league, so it's gonna be really interesting. It really comes down to whose pitching is better. And now, unfortunately, as record right now, Wainwright's actually not having a great game 1, and it's kind of shaky to see at the moment.
You know, it's interesting. The Red Sox went through the same stretch as the Texas Rangers a couple years ago when they played the Cardinals. They beat the Rays in 4 games. They beat the Tigers in 6 games at home, and now they're playing the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? I thought they beat the Yankees.
No.
Who beat the Yankees that year?
I think the Tigers or maybe the Rays beat them.
The Tigers. Okay, yeah, sorry. So it's going to be interesting. It really obviously comes down to the pitching and the timely hitting, like every other baseball playoff series. It's a huge blow for tonight, especially for Wainwright not making it past 5 innings tonight. That's really scary to see. That's definitely a huge momentum boost for the Boston Red Sox, especially getting into their ace so early in the series.
But if you really want to look at it, the postseason ace for the Cardinals has been Waka.
Oh,
Waka.
Absolutely, it's been Waka, but the guy who's been there before and getting things done was Wainwright. So that definitely shakes a little bit of the core, but they'll be ready for Game 2. It's definitely one of those home field advantage kind of games that they're so juiced up
because of the crowd. It's also Game 1 of the World Series.
That's what I'm saying. It's Game 1 of the World Series, and everybody's so jacked up in Boston that this is just one of those games that Boston would probably win 9 out of 10 times kind of thing. So they'll be back ready to go for Game 2.
What do you think? I have them in 6 because I feel like this is
Boston in 6?
Boston in 6 because I just feel this series is going to be a Boston strong series, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
After what happened in April, the whole season has just been uphill for the Red Sox.
Oh, of course. They've carried that mantra this whole entire season, and it's been a battle cry, and it's definitely deserved, and a lot of people, you can't really hate on that, especially for people who don't like the Red Sox. They're a solid team this year. They are a team. Every facet of the word team, anywhere from the beards to the unity with the beards and everything like that. It's their battle cry this year. It's really
good friend Matt.
Matt hasn't shaved since last Stanley Cup playoffs. It's just really really great to see that the town of Boston, as always with all their sports teams, they are behind them 110%, and they are the number one team in that town. There's no question about it. And
no question about it. Would you consider them probably top 3 sports cities?
Of course.
Maybe even top 2?
Of course. Not to be biased, obviously New York's up there.
Right.
Philly's up there. Boston's up there.
But Boston is so dedicated every year and every season and every sport, and it's almost impossible to get tickets to any one of their sporting events.
It's between Boston and Philly.
Yeah. Because the way I see it is you get a better taste of a fan base based on the fact that they only have one team in their city.
Yeah.
Like if you look at New York, there's basically, now with the Nets moving to Brooklyn, of course, there's 2 teams in every sport.
And New York is known for front running.
Right.
Granted, we're not the front runners.
Right. Whoever's winning that year is the team you're rooting for.
Exactly. And you can see that now with a few people with the Jets.
Yeah. And also the Nets.
The Nets as well.
The Nets have higher expectations, so everyone's going to go root for them this season.
And eventually the Islanders, if people want to jump ship, but I don't see that. Once they move to Brooklyn, maybe. But you have to think that they're easily top 5 fan bases in the whole entire United States of America, especially since New England is 5 states as well. Don't forget that. So
that's right.
So they are going strong with five states, along with the Massachusetts population of just the city alone. So it's going to be an easy series. I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with the Cardinals. I just like they've been there before recently, so a lot of their players have seen the battles and gone through most of it. So I don't know. I'm going with the ballsy pick. I'm going to say Cardinals in 7, even though it's probably not going to happen.
Think you have Cardinals in 6?
No, I have Cardinals in 7. So you got to look at the email again. It's definitely 7. They've been there before, but last time they won, it was just incredible. One of those magical World Series runs with David Freese just finding ways to beat the Texas Rangers. So it's going to be a tougher task with the Cardinals, especially how awesome the Red Sox have been this year with them being a quote-unquote team. But I think the Cardinals are going to find a way, and they're gonna raise another championship pennant, in my view.
I just think it's Boston's year. Like I said, Boston's strong. It's just the way they've been going. Yeah, you did say the Cardinals in 7. How about them apples? That's funny because that movie's from Boston.
Yeah, got you.
But yeah, all right. Season's basically over.
Okay. Oh, by the way, get well soon, Matt Harvey, who had his Tommy John.
Did you see his girlfriend?
Yeah, they're still going strong.
He'll do perfectly fine in his rehab.
He will do fine. Ranger fans hope he goes to a few Ranger games.
That I don't care about it.
I know you don't care about it. I'm sure Ranger fans all around hope the best. Since he's not going to be playing baseball next year, maybe he gets season tickets.
Rather him rehab with Anna.
Oh, of course. But I could see him going to a few Ranger games.
But league MVPs.
Like we've been saying all along, American League, you can't dispute a little dispute with Crash Davis, but at the end of the day, it's Miguel Cabrera.
I actually think Crash will end up with it.
I think it's going to be between the two of them, but I think Cabrera is just the best overall all-around player. So I think it's going to be that. As for the National League, I'm going to have to go with... It's weird. I think you're going to have...
Everybody sucks.
There isn't that one clear-cut MVP.
You just said it. The guy who's winning the Cy Young's winning the MVP this year in the NL.
You think Kershaw is going to win the MVP?
I think he's going to win both.
Wow.
Just like Verlander did a couple years ago. The guy had a what ERA? He had like a 1 ERA?
Yeah, he had something ridiculous. I know he's going to win the Cy Young. If they don't want to go that route,
1.83 ERA.
If they don't want to go with that route, you know what? Yeah, I guess it's Kershaw. There isn't many bats like that popped up.
The only real good bats are Johnson, the third baseman from Atlanta, batted .321, but that's about it. 23. No, that was Freddie. 12 homers. Freddie Freeman, you can argue. 319, 23 homers.
No.
Yadier is the only real guy.
I guess you have to go Kershaw with both of them.
Unless you're going to go Michael Kadire, who led the NL in hitting.
Oh, no. See,
unless it's Andrew McCutchen.
I was going to say McCutchen for the sure fact that he helped was the catalyst for them making the playoffs for the first time in 21 years. So if you're going to give it to an everyday player, I'd give it to McCutchen just for the sheer fact of that. Impressive feat. But I guess I'll go Kershaw because he's just had that nasty, ridiculous year.
I think Kershaw wins both of them.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he shouldn't. All right, but who's the American League Cy Young?
American League Cy Young. It has to be Scherzer.
It's got to be Scherzer, right?
It has to be Scherzer. Just the fact on how awesome his season's been. Definitely a storybook season, and not a lot of people expected that kind of year out of him. Obviously, they expected it out of Verlander, but making Verlander, quote-unquote, the number 2 pitcher for the whole playoff run and pretty much the season is pretty impressive stuff, and not a lot of people expected that. Everybody knew he had solid number 2 stuff, number 3 stuff, but him pretty much getting to 20 wins was pretty impressive this year.
They should give Harvey the Cy Young Award. Finished third in the ERA in all of baseball.
And that just shows how impressive.
And 9-5.
That's just impressive how impressive Harvey was until he got hurt.
Right.
He should have got a couple more wins, but that's here nor there to pretty much talk about. But since we're not going to be talking about baseball much longer for the Mets and Yankees, what do you expect for the offseason for the two teams?
Boring. I don't expect a lot out of the Yankees because they're looking to cut a lot of money.
They're going to cut a lot of money, but they're going to re-sign Cano, though.
I could see that, and also they're going to try and go younger.
Yeah.
So that's how they're going to save money.
For that. As for the Mets, I think it's they have to do something this offseason. They're getting a lot of money off the books, so I think it's finally time for Sandy to put some money into the team this year. There isn't really any excuses.
They say they have it.
I'm not saying break the bank on everything, but I want us to be a chance to be a quality team and surprise some people next year without Harvey, which is going to be a tall task. So,
Beltran to the Yankees?
Yeah. But there goes your theory of them wanting to get younger, though.
Yeah, but he would be that one signing for them.
I could see that happening unless he makes some MVP
unless he wins the World Series MVP,
which can happen.
Right. Maybe we'll bring Tommy on in a couple of weeks. We'll talk to him a little bit about
No, of course, absolutely.
But right now, let's go play a little more Freak Show, and we'll be right back with some hockey.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
Hi, this is Clark Gillies from the New York Islanders. You're listening to the S&D Podcast Show. Go get 'em, boys.
Welcome back to episode 50 of the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. We just went from a very warm sport to let's talk a little bit of a cold sport.
Yeah,
hockey.
Let's talk a little hockey. It's actually been It's been a cold streak in the New York metropolitan area. A lot of sloppiness has been going on with the New York Islanders, the Devils, and the New York Rangers.
Hey, nobody cares about Devils. B.
Read
Eyes on Isles. Great article. We'll start with the Islanders. Isn't Abby taking on too much? 9 goals against in his last 3 games.
Yeah, he's been taking on too much, but a lot of it has to be about defense. 100% defense. Like we mentioned last week with Dan, they're not getting the puck out of their zones. They're playing really sloppy transition hockey, and when Nabokov does get the rebound goals, they don't clean the net in front of the net, and they don't clear the puck out of the front of the net. They don't clear it out, and then they get a lot of second chance goals, and that's how the Islanders have been getting beat. The Islanders had it's not about their offense. It's really about our defense, and the Islanders need to figure it out before we miss the playoffs because we don't stop the puck, and we're losing a lot of 5-4 games in overtime. It's great getting points, but sooner or later we have to win these games in overtime. This is our how many overtime games have we been in so far?
1, 2.
No, it's like 3 or 4.
4.
Right now, and it's really annoying because they only really won one game so far in the overtime, and that was a shootout in opening night against the Devils. And it's just annoying. I think they should start playing Poulin a little bit, see what they got. Give Nabby a rest. Granted, Nabby's going to be our goalie and our number one goalie, but Poulin should get the start.
They do have a back-to-back with Pittsburgh and Philly coming up. You got to think Nabby will play one of them.
Yeah, you got to expect Poulin actually get a start. Hopefully he's against Philly.
Saturday at home.
I would hope Saturday against home because they're the lesser of the two teams. And he hasn't got hit. And the only game Poulin's played was a good, solid game against the Blackhawks, which no one expected the Islanders to win. And they lost, but he played a solid game. They lost 3-2, right? Something like that. And that's really respectable especially coming against the Stanley Cup champions. So no one was expecting the Islanders to win, and they played their butts off, and they found a way. Who's your Islander of the week?
Nobody.
No one?
They all suck.
Seriously.
I'll tell you what. Remember our hockey preview show with Andy?
Yeah.
And we gave our bold predictions?
Yep.
Remember the 20 goals by Franz?
Yeah, you're looking really good. He's been sniping.
He's got 5.
Yeah, he's been
including
sniping.
The game tying goal the other night against Vancouver with under 2 minutes
He's
left.
actually played really well. Molson had 2 goals on Tuesday night. It's not about the offense. They have
the 3rd best power play in the NHL.
It's all about our defense, the Islanders' defense right now.
It's what they're lacking. I did like the joke, though, after the game of Tortorella tried to screw the Rangers again by giving the Islanders a point. I did like that joke. So props to the people who came up with that one.
That's funny. Let's switch gears a little bit with the New York Rangers. The Rangers right now have just been playing like not themselves. They
need a nice home cooked meal.
They need a home cooked meal. They haven't been home in a month. They've hit the injury bug really bad right now.
It got worse.
It got worse with Lundqvist, the undisclosed issue. He's definitely not playing Thursday against the Flyers.
But you know how I see it is everyone needs to take it relax.
Yeah.
Because it's a day-to-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you rather him be nicked up in day-to-day now than in April. Let's let him be nicked up early and worry about it in April.
Absolutely, 100%.
Congrats to Marty Biron, by the way.
For
solid career. Not a great career. Solid career. We announced his retirement when the Rangers released him because, the backup goalie is always at fault when your team's doing really bad.
Yeah, the Rangers also not playing any defense in front of Henrik Lundqvist. But I'm
actually excited to see Tablet. I'll be honest. Cam Tablet.
Okay.
He's making his debut for the Rangers this week. They're high on him. I think he should have made the team out of camp, to be honest with you. And if he shows them something, it's going to set the Rangers up for a couple years, especially if they can re-sign Lundqvist, because either you're going to be able to trade Tablet, or you're going to have a solid 1-2 for a couple years where you could take less of the work off of Lundqvist and not have him play 39 games a year.
Oh, absolutely. You could definitely see that happening. It's going to be nice to see him play on Thursday night against the Philadelphia Flyers. It's not panic time yet for the Ranger fans, but they're getting antsy. They're really getting antsy, and it's one of those things that they got to get those injured bodies back onto the ice.
Yes, losing Callahan, of course,
losing Callahan hurts. Losing Nash hurts. They're just walking wounded right now, and they're not playing any defense to help out Lundqvist.
They will be having their first home game coming up, so
28th.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I'm going on Halloween against Buffalo.
They also have a game at the Coliseum coming up.
So next week's hockey show is going to be awesome.
The Rangers will be coming home. They'll play the Islanders. Each team has 3 games and then that one game.
Yeah, I'm excited going on Halloween night because I want to see the final pieces that they've done to the Garden. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. I know a bunch of my friends were planning the Islander Ranger game in December as a group thing. So, yeah, the Rangers need to start just playing better. It's early in the year. People need to calm down, especially with the Islanders.
Oh, they're having Twitter battles already?
Oh my God. If I have to listen to Lauren complain one more time that we're not making the playoffs in the month of October.
Oy.
Lauren, I love you, but quiet down.
Yes.
Quiet down. Quiet down, woman. It's October.
It's plenty of hockey time.
It's not like it's the shortened season. Shortened season, you worry early in the year. You never know if you're going to be able to make that comeback. But it's October. Relax yourself.
Enjoy the season. I know it's going to be a long season, but there's going to be a lot of high streaks and cold streaks. Unfortunately, that's what happens with an 82 game schedule. But both teams' fan bases both got to chill out, and it will work itself out. They both will make the playoffs at the end of the day.
Yeah, there are plenty of teams that are just awful around them that they should not be worrying about it at all. But anyhow. This is episode 50, and we have a very special guest tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little water break and go play some more Division 1.1 Freak Show, and we'll be right back with our good friend Adam Rank.
SND Podcast is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
Check out Believe in NY, a brand new clothing company started by female sports fans. They carry apparel for all New York sports teams. A clothing company by female fans for all New York sports fans. You can find them on Twitter at NYBelieve or their website at believeinny.com.
And welcome back to episode 50 of the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Dan and I would like to welcome our good friend Adam Rank back to the show.
What's up, Adam?
Oh, it was episode number 50. There was no way I was going to be denied. Thank you so much for making some time for me on this epic occasion.
Thank you for joining us. We're happy to make 50 episodes.
Yeah, we're shocked to make it.
There's 3 listeners keeping us intact. They're doing a great job.
By the way, not to mention, last time we had Adam on, we finally got our first hater tweet at 5 o'clock in the morning.
What the what?
Yeah, some guy tweeted us complaining that we didn't talk about football.
It was more towards you, obviously, because you're Adam Rank, big Adam Rank from the NFL Network. So it was obviously a guy from the West Coast thinking it was like actual football insight from you, not just Adam Rank, the personality. And the guy, I wake up to a tweet and like 3 o'clock in the morning, our time. Thanks for wasting out my bites. This show sucks. And I'm like, all right, awesome. We finally made it. We got Twitter hate.
That's the big step. That's when you know you've arrived. People start hating on you or whatever. I don't know. I can't understand somebody would see my name and expect football insight. We're going to be talking burritos. We're going to talk Ocean's 12. We're going to hit a wide gamut of topics. Football might be one of them. Probably not, but it might be.
Hey, I did the right thing. I sent them a tweet back and said, make sure to check out our football preview show.
Yeah. Honestly, becoming friends with Adam actually has its perks. Like Steve Weatherford retweeting me because of him again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, thanks, Adam. I'm like, all right, I'm part of the random tweet from Steve Weatherford, but that was cool. But
no, that's always fun, and it's, you know what? And he should have been MVP of that Super Bowl. By the way, he was fantastic.
No, I completely agree. Do you see him at that awful horse collar tackle the other night?
I like the pictures after of him in the Superman cape. By the way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, that was rough to be at to watch that play.
Anyway, last time we had Adam on the show, he was still finding a team. Adam did pick the Bears, actually for a great reasoning. Adam, do you want to share why you became a Bears fan this year?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago, but we lived there briefly. My dad was stationed at Great Lakes there, the naval station. And we moved to California because both my parents hated the snow. So we moved out. Actually, we hit a pit stop. This this is funny. We moved to Georgia the first year, and of course, this is all secondhand information. I don't remember any of this, but we moved to Georgia, and the first winter there was an ice storm, and my dad was like, nope. So we all ended up in California. We lived just outside of Anaheim. So for any of you on the East Coast, little town called Corona. It borders Anaheim, which is the Disneyland city. So I grew up minutes from Disneyland, Anaheim Stadium, and everything. So I was the only one in my family who did not root for the Chicago Bears. And so I always grew up an LA Rams fan, and then the team obviously folded after the 94 season. And I never picked another team. And then I decided on the Bears because my nephew, who is 19, he's in the U.S. Army now, implored me to root for the Bears. And so I did, and I'll just let everybody know my parents are gone, and I have a sister left. I've got a bunch of nieces and nephews, but they're all still Bears fans. So I've been rooting for the Bears. I've been pulling for them. My nephew, each Sunday or Thursday night, depending on when the Bears play, he texts, and we keep up because he can't see the games. So I let him know what's going on, and it's been going pretty cool. And as a matter of fact, I went back into some photo albums, and I looked, and I found some photos of me as a little kid wearing Bear stuff. Because, my aunt would still send me Bear stuff for birthdays or whatever, and my mom would sneak pictures of me in them. I obviously wasn't posing for these photos, but she'd, sneak a picture of me in a Walter Payton jersey or something, or there's one where I'm a real little kid, and I'm flashing, the peace symbol, wearing a little Bears jacket, which I just found the other day. So it's a kind of a nice connection, and it's also cool, if I'm wearing a Bears hat like I'm doing right now, and people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you from Chicago?" I can be like, "Oh yeah, I am." Oh, because if I had chosen, let's say, the Jaguars or something, people are like, "Oh, you from Jacksonville?" You'd be like, "No," and then you'd have to go through a long, convoluted story. And now I can still give them that story, but I can cut it short too and just be like, "Yeah, I'm from Chicago," and then nobody questions anything.
And we hope your nephew stays safe, and thank you for all his services, of course.
Yes.
Where is he located right now?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. He's in Fort Bliss down there in Texas. Okay. So he's not overseas yet, so that's good. But thank you for the well wishes and all that stuff, and I'm proud of him. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Giants. We forgot to mention the Giants did that on Monday. They actually had. I was at the game.
You told me about that.
They had. There was a family on the field. They had a video of their son, I believe it was, on the scoreboard. And then they had the kid coming on the field. He came home, and they had one of those setups.
Yeah, I saw that on Giants.com. It actually brought tears to my eyes. Yeah. I was like, wow. I'm trying to hide it while I was at work. I was like, everybody's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "No, leave me alone."
It's a little dusty in there. Yeah, you know what? Anytime I see one of those soldiers coming home videos, I could watch those on an endless loop forever. They're so awesome.
Yeah, and just like you said, you could watch them on an endless loop, and it's always like, "Oh, that'd be so cool to experience live." And then I finally got to do it, and it's just like your heart just drops because it's such a great moment.
I was going to say, you had to have cried during that day. I can't imagine that you didn't.
Oh, of course, definitely. I called it right away. I looked at my dad and I go, "He's definitely here. I have that feel that he's here." Because they always show the video of the guys in Afghanistan, and you can see the desert behind them and stuff. This guy was in front of a blue curtain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I wonder if the families are now starting to become hip to it. They're like, yeah. I mean, could you imagine if the kid didn't show up? You'd have to be disappointed. Oh, this isn't the soldier coming home thing. It would be, it would be so bad the other way. But that's still awesome. I seek those out. I watch them every time, and I'll start crying and get all misty and all that stuff. But I'm a crier. I'll watch Deep Impact and start crying. So I don't know. I'm not a good gauge of what's a good crying situation or whatever, because I'll obviously cry at the drop of a hat.
Hey, it happens.
It happens. Everybody.
But Deep Impact, it's a touching movie. The astronauts are flying into the bowl. Although I do watch that movie, and I wonder, the astronauts they land on this comet, which okay, fine, we'll pretend that happened, and they're drilling and it doesn't work. And they're like, yeah, let's fly home. And you're like, wait, you guys have like 6 nukes left. Like, I don't know why it took Robert Duvall so long to figure out, like, no, we should fly into that thing. Like, yes, you should. That should have been plan B all along. Like, what was your plan going to be? Like, you're going to fly home, like, walk down the street and people are like, hey, fish, how's it going? So it didn't work, huh? So you don't have any missiles? Like, what? Like, of course. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Like, you know, if that didn't work, plan B, you should have flown in all along. I don't even know why it was a discussion. Like, what would you think? Well, how will you get up? You're not getting up. That's the thing. You signed up for. You're the last. This is the end of the world. You have to. I'm sorry. You know, that's what you signed up for. Although Mary McCormick just signed up because she's a pilot. Like, she's very proficient at her job, and she can land the thing on a comet, obviously. So she's very good. And then so she's still there on the ship. You know, talking to. I would be upset at those guys. Is what I'm saying. Like, if you're Mary McCormick in that situation, you're like, oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Great job with planning the nukes. You did very well. Now I'm going to have to go kill myself because you a-holes couldn't get the job done. And, you know, I would just be talking about that for weeks. That's it.
If you want, go for it. We got all night.
No, I'm just saying that's how I would be upset about that. If I was like, oh, yeah, I did my job. I don't know if you guys noticed how hard it was to land on a comet. Like, it's moving at, like, the speed of light, but it's cool. I got us there, but you guys didn't, so now I'm going to die. But thank you. Thank you so much.
How about this? Next time we have you on, we'll have an hour of just Deep Impact.
Because there's still a lot of things in like that whole, like, I don't know. And the people who, the road going out of the Atlantic Boardwalk City, where it's not the Atlantic City, but it's the Atlantic Seaboard. And people are driving up, and it's like, you knew this rocket was coming. Why were you still near the beach? What were you waiting for? Like, yeah, I hope these nukes, like, okay, just in case it doesn't work, we should go drive somewhere, right? We should be up in the Rockies. We've got a couple of weeks. Like, no, they're like last minute. Oh, okay, we'll go now because nobody will be trying to escape now. And they're waiting around, and then the kid, the Toby. Is it Toby Maguire? No, it's the dude from the Lord of the Rings, right? Who's the kid in that?
Yeah,
I believe.
Am I wrong? Am I going on too long? You can stop me at any point. But this guy...
Impact Hour with Adam Rank.
We're having Deep Impact Hour of Adam Rank. No, seriously, no, you're doing fine. Let's switch gears just a little tad.
So you were done with that. Okay, I see. You're like, no, you can talk about all you want, but switching gears real quick. Okay, I know.
I told you we're gonna have an all Adam Rankin Deep Impact episode.
All right. Well, sign me up for that because I've got some disdain for that movie. Disdain? No, I liked it, but it's just a couple of things. Just a couple of things still stick with me.
Absolutely. Are you excited for Bad Grandpa?
Oh, I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. It's going to be so great, and it's cool too because we're going to take my sister to go see it. So the wife, one of our neighbors, and my sister, because she's very she gets squeamish over things like that. So we're going to make her go. She's going to sit in between us, and then we're going to react to what's happening on the movie, and then we're going to react to my sister overreacting to what's going on to the screen, which will be even better. Because I made her go see, like, Hangover 2 with me when that came out. And that movie, you know, like, the whole, like, the Bangkok stripper and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. She lost it. It was so... It makes the movie so much better. And as a matter of fact, I also saw this movie today. I went to go see We're the Millers, because we have one of those dollar theaters by us. I saw that. That movie's great. I laughed my ass off. That was so much fun.
Oh, that's the one with Jennifer Aniston.
And Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, and Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis, to me, is one of the funniest guys. I just love him. I saw that. Right? He was great in Movie 43. I like him in everything. So he was great in this. So there's another recommendation.
No, I'm definitely going to get that when it gets out on DVDs. 100%. All right, let's talk a little football. All right.
The Giants finally won.
I wish we beat the Bears a few weeks ago. That would have been bittersweet.
We did that for Adam. We were letting him win before Cutler got hurt. We knew that it was.
You guys, well, thank you. I appreciate you guys putting us over in one of those early season games when I thought the Bears were going to be going to the Super Bowl. But It happens. You know what, though? I don't like the Giants fans complaining. Like, you guys have won 2 Super Bowls in the last, 5 years, 6 years? So
complaining?
Who's complaining? No, not you two. I'm not saying you. I know a couple of Giants fans, and they want to come over, and I'm like, I don't want to hear, our team. Like, that's the one thing that, like, I don't know. It just bugs me because mainly, I guess I'm just in a bad mood because the Red Sox are winning right now, and it's just ruining my mood because the Boston fans are the worst because we hear about, like, the Red Sox, they went through 85 years of futility, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but the Celtics won, 100 titles, so you were fine. It was like when I was growing up. I knew, it was disappointing. The Rams were terrible. The Kings were not good. The Angels were not. We had a couple of years, and we had a couple of heartbreaking losses. But the Lakers won every year. So it really wasn't it wasn't a miserable existence. We still had one thing to hang our head. We weren't Cleveland, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. So sometimes it just bugs me a little bit. So the Boston fans bug me with that. And then there's some Giants fans, not you guys, who are complaining a little bit. And the funny thing is you're in the NFC East, so you're probably not out of it, which is amazing.
Well, that's the question I had for you. Can the Giants still win the NFC East, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I look at that. I look at that division, and there's 4 teams with a lot of deficiencies. The Redskins. I think RG3 is getting healthy. He's starting to look a lot better. He's starting to regain that step he had last year. He's rushed for 155 yards in the past two games. So he's starting to feel a little bit more confident in that knee. That team's 2-4. The Eagles, I love the offense. I love everything about them, what's going on. But they just don't play defense.
No, they play.
There's no defense at all. Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's great. I enjoy watching them, and it's great for fantasy football. But that's not a team that you look at. I mean, they could easily land at 8-8. The Dallas Cowboys, they've had the Cowboys have had their troubles over the years. Like all those teams, I see they could all be 8-8. And if the Giants go, but they're 1-6 right now, so they would have to go 7-2,
pretty much
over their next 9. That doesn't seem crazy to me.
They do. I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. Honestly, though. Of all the years for the Cowboys to choke, it can't be this year. It's working out too perfectly for them not to choke and get a division this year and make a playoff run. It honestly, this year has to be the year for Dallas. As much as it pains me to say, it has to be this year. If it's not this year, they might as well just blow up that whole entire team and start from scratch. Would you agree with me on that?
I would agree with you on that. It definitely, they have to win this year. They are already, they're in the lead and everything. Everything seems set up for them. They still lack that running game. They should really get, I wish the NFL did trade like Major League Baseball did trades, or even the NBA sometimes, where you just see these big names going from these teams that don't contend. But the problem with that is, you look at the Vikings and you're like, they could trade Jared Allen and Adrian Peterson, but they were a playoff team a year ago, and they could easily be a playoff team next year if they just get the right quarterback. So these teams, because there's so much parity and they flip overnight, but nobody ever seems to have to rebuild, go through a serious rebuilding process. But this certainly seems like it's setting up for the Cowboys. And I just went ahead and I'm looking at the Giants' schedule right now. So they're 1-6. So, and I'm not going to make any predictions. But we'll talk winnable game, yes or no. Okay, they got the Eagles this week, obviously a winnable game. Yep. They go on a bye. They have the Raiders in Week 10, obviously a winnable game. They got the Packers. Yeah, Raiders at home. They should win that one. They got the Packers. They got 3 games in a row at home. This is insane.
I love
the
that.
Packers
gets the retail games.
But we also only had 3 home games so far this whole entire season. So,
so I understand. Of course, it's weird. So I'm looking. How did the schedule shake out? I'm always convinced the NFL always tries to help out the Giants as much as you guys never seem to have an early season bye week. Your bye week.
We had it a few years ago, actually.
A few years ago, it happened once, but for the most part, it's week 9 or later. And let me tell you this, too. Let me tell you the genius thing. This is what should happen. I'm trying to lobby people in the league office. I hate the early bye weeks. Why don't you just do the bye weeks in week 9, week 10, week 11, and week 12? And you just have like the AFC and NFC West have a bye week in week 9. Then it's the AFC and NFC North, and then so on. And then each year you just rotate it, so it's not automatic. So you just rotate it, and then 2 divisions are off. There's a month of bye weeks, and that's it. And then it's fair for everybody. And then I just don't understand why a team needs a bye in week 4. It makes no sense to me. These teams don't share stadiums anymore. I understand there's some parking lot issues, but nobody shares that stadium outside of Oakland. So why are you doing that?
Giants and Jets.
No, I'm saying with a baseball team.
Oh, the baseball team.
No, you should write Roger Goodell a letter stating that.
What, you didn't like the 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Oakland Raider game?
Well, it's fine for him.
Well, that's another thing. That needs to happen, too. Like, yeah, let's have it. Let's have the 8 o'clock, thank you. It was at 8 p.m.
Yeah, for
8 o'clock.
For him.
Yeah, for you.
It was
I was out cold.
Sunday night, essentially a Sunday nighter for us, for him. So that must have been cool, rare for you.
Yeah, you know what? Our NFL games start at 10 in the morning. That's how ridiculous that. So don't complain to me. Oh, I just stay up late for who cares? We didn't get, because I was in college. I'd have to get up at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, which is unheard of.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To watch NFL games, you're like, are you kidding me? Like, oh.
I do like my coffee at 11 and pregame shows.
Adam, you're gonna laugh. When my college, my roommates couldn't get up for 1 o'clock games. I was like, get up already! It's 1 o'clock.
See, exactly. You're pushing it with those 1 o'clock games, and I'll tell you, you know what's cool though is anytime I go back to New York, and we're out there for fantasy draft week, I was out there for the real draft. Just going and watching a baseball game that's starting at 10 p.m. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, it is the greatest thing ever.
Especially when we have the MLB app.
I love the MLB app, and I love when the Mets play West Coast games. Granted, more times than not, they're losing. But it's like, get to like just chill by yourself and no one bother you kind of thing. And it's just pretty much quiet time. I love 10 o'clock baseball games.
Hey, I enjoy getting that opportunity to listen to guys like Vin Scully call a baseball game.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You guys have not had that opportunity.
No, not at all. So, all right, how about this? The other New York team. When we had you on back in August, remember how we were saying like the Jets suck and maybe they win 2 games, we'll be lucky?
Right.
Boy, were we wrong.
Are they?
Wasn't I saying that the Jets? Wait, I thought I said the Jets had the possibility of being good.
No, you did, but you didn't. You said...
You had to read between the lines.
You did.
No, I get it. It's, you know what?
We're in New York. Yeah. We don't read between the lines.
Fair enough.
You did, but no. You said if Sanchez. So, like, what do you think about?
Yeah, I was more into Sanchez playing better. I get it. Yeah. Well, we did talk about the defense. We said the defense had a chance.
Yeah, we did.
That's the thing about the NFL is that when a team like the Jets comes out, and I'm just no longer surprised. I'm just like, I guess this stuff just kind of happens because this is the NFL. This is the way the league is set up. It's not like it's not the same as like the Houston Astros coming out and winning 100 games and, winning the pennant or something like that, because those teams are more transparent. Like we get a better read on those teams than we do in the NFL because things just change so quickly. And if you look at the Jets too, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've been outscored by like 50 points or a sizable amount of points this season where they've been outscored and they're still 4-3. It's almost like fantasy football of like some teams, just somehow seem to get lucky. And I don't want to say the Jets are getting lucky, but they've been fortunate because they've looked really bad at times, and yet they're still 4-3, and they're still, in the hunt for the playoffs. And I think if you're a Jets fan, I mean, what do the Jets fans have to root for? You root for the playoffs, basically, right? You don't go into a season saying, I hope we win the Super Bowl. That just doesn't seem realistic to me. You just have to be like, yeah, hope we make the playoffs. I mean, listen, and before you Jets fans get upset, realize that until a couple of years ago, that's the way I would watch the LA Kings. Is it's like, just get to the playoffs, and then it'll be fun. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But now, I'm a little bit spoiled, and now I expect the Kings to win each and every time they play. But, for the Jets, you know what? Yeah, 4-3. Go out and enjoy it. Have a good time, but they're going to make a run. And you look at the AFC, not a lot of good teams out there. I think the Patriots are good. The Bengals are better than I thought they were going to be. The Colts are good. The Chiefs and the Broncos are good. So
They're a lot better than everybody.
And like you mentioned yesterday in one of your busy shows, I'm forgetting if it was Dave Damashek's show or the Fantasy show, both on iTunes and NFL Network. It's crazy to think that the Chiefs are in first place and the Denver Broncos, which should technically is the best team in the right league, even though they had a rough game against the Colts, is going to be the wild card team if the season ended today. That's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, they would be going to Indianapolis if the season ended today. And the Chiefs are, but we talked about the Chiefs last year. They had so much talent on that team.
Yeah, 6 footballers on defense.
Yeah, and so it wasn't crazy to expect them to be in the playoffs last year. And now that they have a solid coach, and Andy Reid showed, you give him a good team, it's going to be a very good coach. And so it's not surprising to me, and we'll see what happens. And, as Daniel Jeremiah, the super scout, my colleague there at NFL Network, NFL.com, like, this team's got a good defense that matches up really well with the Broncos, too. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So you're looking at 5 teams who are really above the rest, and the Jets are competing with teams like the Dolphins, who are all right, the Ravens, who haven't played very well so far this season. The Titans aren't good offensively. The Chargers, I think, are the 6th seed right now. If the season ended, I do know, actually, the Chargers would be the 6th seed. So Jets aren't out of it. Get into the playoffs, and then see what happens.
What do you think the Jets are going to do against the Cincinnati Bengals this week?
Well, this one would surprise me. If the Jets were able to come out and beat the Bengals, I've not been a big believer in the Bengals. Yeah, it's in Cincinnati. I haven't been a big believer in the Bengals, Marvin Lewis and everything and even Andy Dalton I haven't really had a lot of faith in. But over the last couple of weeks, he's looked really good, even though if it's one thing to look on the stat sheet and you see, 80-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Green, but then you realize he's severely underthrew that. A.J. Green came back for the ball and made a nice move. But you know what? Those plays still count, and the Bengals won a pretty tough game. I'm surprising to say this about the Detroit Lions, but yeah, it's a surprise. It's a tough game, and they're 5-2 right now, and so if the Jets can go out and handle their business against the Bengals, that would be very impressive. It's one thing to beat one of your division rivals. The Jets and the Patriots have a history, and Rex Ryan knows how to kind of play against the Patriots and how to play against Tom Brady. So it doesn't surprise me if you can get a couple of upsets in your division. But going out and beating a good team in another division, that's what impresses me.
I absolutely agree with you. I don't know. Maybe because I'm in New York, I think the Jets can find a way to pull up an upset with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a little overrated. They're this year's a little overrated team that everybody seems, for some reason, to fall in love with. I just don't think they're there yet, per se.
Right.
Obviously, they have great fantasy guys, but as a team, I don't know if they're there yet.
No, I'm with you. No. I agree with all that. And when you look at the teams, the top teams in the AFC that we were talking about, I would put them below the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Colts, the Patriots, and yeah. So I would put them at 5th on those teams.
And honestly, I think they're more lucky than anything that this year's just a down year for the NFC North, with the Ravens for some reason not running the ball with Ray Rice. That's my big fantasy gripe this year, is the Ravens not running the ball with Ray Rice more. But I know
that's crazy.
Like, how do they not run the ball more? I know they gave Flacco over $100 million, so they want to throw the ball bajillion times, but they know Flacco is not that kind of quarterback. So it's just one of those that it's really weird what's going on with Ray Rice and them.
It is crazy.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they did it one week, and then they seemed to correct themselves and go back to Ray Rice, and then they went back and they ignored it again. And I've talked to some scouts, and they said that Joe Flacco's checking out of plays, and he just wants to wing the ball all the time. Because it's crazy to me that they lost that Bills game.
Exactly.
Just pound the ball against those guys. You would have been fine. I just don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to. I really don't. I really don't know what they're trying to do.
Alrighty, is Peyton Hillis the answer to the giant running back problem?
I don't know. Did you see him run? He was never fast before, but he looks like he's running in sand.
Yes, he does.
Wearing ice skates.
When the Giants signed him, my friend Vin texts me and goes, "Can you guys get any slower in your backfield?"
Yeah, you would have liked my Facebook status as well. I was like, Brendan Jacobs and Peyton Hillis in the same backfield might be the slowest backfield since the 1950s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Honestly,
I thought the Giants line was looking pretty good the other night, and I'm like, oh man, you put anyone. Andre Brown, when he comes back, you want to talk about a fantasy guy, dude, yeah. That guy's going to be amazing. But I feel like that. See, the Giants, they're going to come back, aren't they? They're going to win that division. Gosh dang it. It pains me. If I'm not Brown's practicing again, too.
Brown is practicing. They say he's actually looked very good. The reports out of the beat reporters I've been reading.
I don't expect David Wilson to be back. That's just obviously a fan aspect. I highly doubt it.
You could see if you actually follow David Wilson's Instagram, he's actually working very hard in his rehab. The other day when he was walking around.
Oh, good.
He was walking around the city with a bunny hat on.
No, he's lost his damn mind. I don't know what's going on. But I love Ruben Randall. Like I said the last time we were on the show, he's finally getting Eli's respect and trust. So that's good to see.
I'll tell you my fantasy problem this year is Akeem Nicks.
Oh yeah, he's so brutal.
I would have went 5-0 last weekend if he caught one or two more balls. Or just a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
And no. Those humongous hands dropped 3 passes.
Do you think the Giants are going to trade Akeem Nicks, or are they going to just stay tough and work it out?
Yeah, you know what, these NFL teams just don't seem to make moves, but I would like to see them trade them to a team. I'd like to trade them to the Colts, because the Colts have Hilton and Brazil and DHB who can just go straight down the field, and then they could use a guy who's more of a grittier underneath guy. Kind of go in and play that Reggie Wayne role like Akeem Nicks can do it. So I would like to see him traded there. I just hope he can get his stuff together, because the guy is so good that it's just disappointing to see all that talent go to waste.
Absolutely. I agree. Actually, honestly, I'm not going to try to jump the gun, even though they have a shot at being the Super Bowl contender now. But if the Colts were able to get Akeem Nicks with their offense already, and maybe get T-Rich able to get it going, they would be a very, very tough team to beat, especially if they get home field advantage in the playoffs. They would be easily a tough team to beat, and maybe get a even better chance of making it to the Super Bowl now. Especially,
yeah, they were going to be they're a legit contender.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway.
They beat the 49ers and the Seahawks, including the Broncos.
And don't forget, the 49er game was in San Francisco.
Yeah, that was
right.
They're very impressive.
But they lost to the Chargers.
Yes, they did. They looked really shitty.
They took a week off to play the Colts.
Colts never play. I guess I always thought it was a Peyton Manning thing, but they always play poorly against San Diego for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah. You saw that one year Peyton had, 6 interceptions against them?
Yeah. What I like to call the greatest game ever.
All right, you mentioned the LA Kings before. The Rangers are struggling, but Jonathan Quick gave up a pretty funny goal to them.
All right, fancy pants.
I'm an Islander fan, so I was mad that he gave up that goal.
That was the most I mean, I remember I told my buddy, I said, you know what, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't hurt as bad because he was, a Stanley Cup champion. Like if it was Kelly Rudy or somebody like that, or one of the other guys from our history who had let up a goal like that, but it's like, yeah, it's still Jonathan Quick. Like, yeah, don't laugh too hard, The Stanley Cup champion, he's fine. Like, I understand it was a big one, but it was awful to watch.
We're both big fans of Jonathan Quick for two reasons.
USA,
he's going to be the starting goalie. Actually,
yeah,
three reasons. He's going out. He's married to Matt Martin. Matt
Molson's sister.
Matt Molson's sister from the Islanders. And three, he is a Giant fan.
Oh, he is?
Yes, because
he's from Connecticut.
He's from the area, so yeah.
That makes sense.
So
he's from Connecticut.
I'm sure he's a Yankee fan, unless he's that weird guy from Connecticut that likes both New England and New York sports teams. You
get that a lot.
Connecticut's weird like that. So I don't know.
They also wear sweaters around their shoulders, but what are you gonna do?
Oh.
I have family from Connecticut, so I'm allowed to jab.
Okay.
He might be. You know what? I'm looking up his Twitter because I'm like, now I'm wondering. I think he might be a Red Sox fan.
Oh, he must have been tweeting.
He tweeted out, "Poppy."
Oh no.
All right, back to a little bit of football. What was the biggest injury? I say it was Reggie Wayne, but what was the biggest injury from Week 7?
Nah, it was. It's got to be Jay Cutler.
Are you just saying that because you're a Bears fan now?
No, because the Colts can recover from their loss. They can go find a receiver. They'll have somebody step up. These quarterbacks always seem to find a way to make their receivers better. You see how Phillip Rivers is throwing to, virtually nobody, and he still does a pretty good job. Aaron Rodgers, he's battling through some injuries to his receiving corps, still doing a really good job. But when you lose your quarterback, that's pretty significant. And when you lose a quarterback from a team that's going towards the playoffs, because I don't want to diminish what Sam Bradford meant to the St. Louis Football Club, but I don't think anybody thought that was a playoff team. But with the Bears, who people had playoff expectations for after the first couple of weeks, that's a pretty big blow.
And also losing Lance Briggs also was a big blow to the already hurt defense that the Bears had.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those weird things. It's 4 years in a row if you want to count the championship game a few years ago against the Packers. It's just crazy to see like how the Bears are so much lined up to making a playoff run or be in the playoffs, and something like crazy happens with injuries. Like a couple years was Forte, and then it was Cutler again. It's just the Bears can't get out of their own way with injuries, and it's really scary to see because they could easily hang around with the Packers, but they just can never stay healthy, and it's just one of those sad things. What do you think? Since Cutler is a free agent, do you think they're going to go a different route next year?
Nothing will make Jay Cutler's stock go up higher than watching McCown play quarterback for a couple of weeks.
Oh, of course.
If McCown goes out, although on the flip side, McCown goes out and plays really well, that's going to doom Cutler. So it all depends on how they do without him. If they go 0-4 and they look directionless, it's going to bode well for them. But if they're able to survive, go 2-2, you know what? It's going to be hard for him to go to the negotiating table and say, you know what, you guys need me. If Trestman can go out there and win with McCown.
Fair enough. All right, one personal question for the NFL Network /NFL.com team. And since they're probably not going to listen, so you could be honest with this. Who's your favorite?
Okay.
Who's your favorite coworker that's strapped up the chin strap for the helmet? Who's your favorite coworker that you
of the former players?
Yes.
And I can't say Akbar Is that too easy?
No, that would thank you. That would be way too easy. You love Akbar way too much.
Yeah, I hang out with him way too much. Does he have to be a former NFL player?
Just in general.
Because Daniel Jeremiah did play quarterback for Appalachian State.
Did against Michigan, Steven.
Quiet. Let's not talk about that game.
Yeah, Steven,
Yeah, buddy.
Bad memories. I still wake up sweating in the middle of the night thinking about them.
Now, who other than those two guys? So those.
Oh, geez. Outside of your favorite guys, who's your favorite? Okay.
Well,
got it.
No. How many hours in a week? And you watch every game with them every Sunday?
I do. I do hang out with them. Gosh, it's pretty easy. I would say it's Michael Irvin. He is what you see on TV. I mean, he is fantastic. I remember a couple of weeks ago, forget who the Cowboys were playing, and Des Bryant shoved the dude, caught a touchdown pass. It might have been against St. Louis.
It was the Rams because I watched it, and I was like, yay, I got fantasy points, but if I'm a ref and I don't throw a flag, I'd be crucified.
Yeah. And Michael Irvin jumped up and was defending Dez. He's like, he's just holding his ground. He's just holding his ground. And, he's great. So he does stuff like that. I remember a couple of years ago there was a flap about it was back when the Patriots were going undefeated. And Michael Irvin said that he would trade his Hall of Fame ring for a perfect season. And he came into the newsroom and just gave a filibuster that was so awesome. He honestly went on for 5 minutes. It was a Saturday afternoon. There weren't many of us there, and he just was going on and on. And so finally I'm like, I picked up a book, and I'm like, I will go with you, Michael. Wherever you want to go, I'm with you. And he's fantastic. Yeah, he's easily my favorite.
All right, who's your least favorite?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask.
You got to ask that question.
You can't do it. Don't.
I don't want this getting back to anybody. I'm sorry.
Fine, fair enough.
All right.
You have my phone number. Just text me. I'll let you know.
No, I know. Adam, all right. Since you're no longer popular on the Dave Demashek, since you're a popular person with the fantasy world, you can't do the second show, and you missed the AJ Hawk interview.
Yes.
I really wish AJ Hawk heard what team through your words that you like the Bears. For the reasonings, it's perfect, but just knowing the show and how great of a friend AJ Hawk has been to your show, it would have been really awesome to hear what he had to say to you. If he found out that you were a Bears fan through you.
Yeah, if he hears this story, it's hard for anybody to really get upset about it.
Oh, absolutely not. But just hearing from him at first and then you telling the story would have been too perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's the best. Is that you make somebody just feel like the ultimate jerk, yeah, that's a good reason. I'm sorry.
Pretty much. I hope you get his dad on soon. I hope you're on that show when that happens.
I'll crash it if that happens. There's no way I would miss AJ Hawk's dad on the show.
You have to crash that one.
For sure.
All right, Adam. I need tight end help this week.
All right.
In one of my leagues. Now, I did the whole steal Gronk late and pick up Jordan Cameron later on as a sleeper.
All right.
So who do I play this week?
I'm playing Gronk every week. I know that I appreciate what Jordan Cameron did for us, and if you could flex him, I would do that. But man, his quarterback's Jason Campbell. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. I'm gonna go with Gronkowski there.
Alrighty. So when Gronk puts up less points than Cameron, I know who to blame.
Yeah, like I see you both have my number. Just let me hear about it. Everybody else does. So don't be shy.
You have no idea. I know I've texted you a few times, and I'm sorry. But it's sometimes it's like I gotta text Adam to see what's up with this. And I'm like, I can't. No, it's just not good. I'm like, all right, damn it. No, he cheered me up after. I'm like, I forgot what it was. I'm like RG3. He's like, yep, he's gonna do it. I'm like, okay. I don't think so. It's gonna happen, and then he didn't happen by a point. One of the weeks, but it was funny. Do you is RG3 a start every week? That's my one question.
Yes, he's back. Like I was just talking about a couple of minutes ago. That the guy's back. I mean, he looks good when he's running the football. It just took him a couple of weeks to get really comfortable with the knee and everything, and now he's fine. I mean, he's going to be great, and everybody who drafted him, I know a lot of people probably drafted him as their number 2 quarterback. Go ahead and put him in your starting lineup, I don't worry about it. This guy is good. And even, he was still having he scored more than 20 points in half of his games this season. So it wasn't like he was a total bust. He wasn't as great as he was last year, and that's understandable, but he was still, the first couple of weeks, he was still putting up 20 points here and there, and now he's got the running game going, and his accuracy was weird. His accuracy was a little bit off against the Cowboys, but now that seems to be a thing of the past. And so I love him going forward. I wish I had him on more teams.
Yeah, no, I need him to step up big time because I'm 1-5-1, and honestly, I would have won my game if Cutler didn't die pretty much last week.
Oh, that's terrible.
So I'm 1-5-1 right now. I think I'm gonna come back. There's no way. My team is too decent. It's just
I ain't heard no fat lady.
There is no fat lady yet, but it's honestly been that kind of year. Everything has gone wrong, and because I've been over analyzing. I'm gonna completely stop doing that, and I'm gonna come back and win, hopefully. But yeah, I think RG3 is finally play every week. After I learned my lesson this week, and I had a feeling. I don't know, Jay Cutler. For me, some reason he's bad luck whenever I have Jay Cutler. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
He cursed you. You see that? Adam?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us for episode 50.
Oh, no, my pleasure. I wouldn't have missed it.
When are you coming back to New York? Are you going to be back in New York during Super Bowl week?
I hope so.
It's all about if the big company decides to pay for your trip.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, there's no official. They don't have the official word, but it's looking pretty good. So hopefully, I will be out there once again for the Super Bowl.
All right. They have to after last year with you doing all the outside interviews and stuff, which were pretty.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. So my boss gave an indication that she would like me to do that again. So it's looking good. But until you get the credential in your hand, you're not. You're still humble, just making sure, going about, keep my nose to the grindstone, doing my job, and then if they're cool enough to send me out there, then I'll be happy to go.
All right, one last thing: is Daniel Bryan going to win the title this weekend?
I don't think they're ready to give it to him quite yet. I wish they would. They just haven't been doing it the way that I thought they would. They went a little bit too overboard immediately with the Shield beatdowns and everything like that. They could have stretched it out for a couple of months, but I mean, they got pay-per-views to sell, so.
Well, last pay-per-view was a $55 Monday Night Raw. Thank God I bought it illegally. But that's between.
The majority of them have been, and it's unfortunate, that the bottom line counts more than the product, which is just, the way things work in the world. So they got shareholders to account to and things like that. So, I mean, it would be nice if they just had 4 pay-per-views a year and they were really special. And like you said, they're really, now that, Raw's 3 hours, it's like every week it's a pay-per-view. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, Adam, thanks for coming on.
It's crazy, too. I'm sorry, I just wanted to say, though, it's crazy that I want to buy it because I want them to see that Daniel Bryan can carry pay-per-views, because if these pay-per-views tank, then they'll be like, see, this is why we should never have him be champion. So
you're right.
It's almost like I got to pay so he can be the champion. It's a mess.
You would enjoy Adam, by the way. I sit in a section at Island Games, 329, the Blue and Orange Army, we call ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And every time the Islanders score a goal, we all do, yes, 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 yes.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clever.
So when you're in New York and the Islanders are at home, you're going to come to a game and we're going to sit up with them.
I'm doing it. Yeah, count me in.
All right. We will definitely do that when you come to New York.
Unfortunately, one of the games is the Yankee Stadium game that we obviously can't afford to go to take Adam.
Yeah, that'll be weird. Oh, gosh, the tickets for because the Kings and Ducks are doing it at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah. How's that going to work out?
Yeah, I was going to text you that.
How's the ice stay frozen?
How's that?
I don't know.
That is so weird.
But thankfully, the tickets are very expensive, so I'm going to end up just watching it on TV.
I paid a nice little price for mine.
Yeah, I'm wimping.
With my season ticket holder price.
I'm definitely wimping out and watching it on the big screen.
Oh, and I get to sit on the bleachers.
Oh, cool.
So you'll get to know what it's like to be at Linville Field then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Adam, hopefully between now and the next 50 episodes we have you on again.
I hope so.
It's always fun having you on.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Well, I love coming on. Congratulations on 50. Here's to another 50. And I hope we do it again soon.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, thanks, gentlemen.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to episode 50 of the S&D Podcast show on the Schmuck Sports Network. I hope you're all still listening. It was a long segment.
It was an awesome segment.
It was an awesome segment, and we would like to thank Adam again for joining us for the 50th episode.
Yeah, it's crazy to be the 50th episode in. Thank you for everybody that's been listening. Adam Rank, as always, definitely becoming a friend more and more as we talk to him.
Yes.
He's definitely one of a kind and funny guy. Keep on listening, watching, and listening to him on all the shows he helps out on the NFL Network / NFL.com and all the podcasts that he helps out with. Since we don't have enough time for our picks this week, it will be online as always this week. It's going to be an interesting week. A lot of favorites, not a lot of big upsets. Not a lot of upsets that you can see can win this week. So you'll see what me and Steve have in store for this week. I think I have something up my sleeve. Who you don't know yet?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still in that debate.
Okay.
Of a lot of games, so.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Anyway, thank you for listening to our 50th episode.
Yes, thank you to everybody who's supported us. Has been there for us.
Yes.
Keep listening to us. The haters can keep hating.
Thank you for loving and hating us at the same time. And by the way, don't forget to check out sometime by the end of the week this weekend. Check out our NBA Fight Review.
Yes, our NBA preview show. Our friend Alex from the Brooklyn Nets fan club, and our good friend Keith from SchmuckSports.com will be joining us.
Once again, thank you to Division 1.1 and Schmuck Sports, and have a good week, guys.
Have a good one.
I'm a preacher.